Slept with my boss on the way to a date. 3 stories of women who cheated and regretted it, or not women, share what led them to infidelity. Why do people cheat? What does a person feel and experience when they decide to betray their partner? 3 women shared their stories with our colleagues from Volgograd. These women differ in age, profession, and social status, but they have one thing in common. At some point, they chose to be unfaithful. Every person has basic emotional needs they seek to fulfill, including through relationships. Here are 8 fundamental needs: security, recognition of value, the need for a strong and reliable friend who can protect and support us, a sense of belonging, shared experiences, self-determination, uniqueness, influence, initiative from the other person, and the expression of love, says sexologist Daria Kugel. If these needs are not met in a relationship, a person naturally looks for ways to compensate. Some fulfill these needs through work success, achieving goals, self-actualization, creativity, or therapy, while others seek them in an additional partner, using infidelity to fill the void. Everyone in our group said there was a storm of passion between us. 31-year-old Tatiana's story ended like a line from an old joke. Her husband returned from a long business trip. Fortunately for her, it didn't lead to the destruction of her small family unit. He was my first love, at that time my husband's best friend. Tatiana recalls what happened to her a few years ago. They always came over to visit. We had a close-knit group of friends, but outsiders in our company always said there was an unspoken storm of passion between him and me. We laughed it off, but I knew he could barely look at me without revealing his feelings. Tatiana had always believed that since her husband was her first in every way, both in bed and in life, they would stay together forever, happily and faithfully. But things didn't turn out that way. One day, my husband left for a long business trip. We were out with friends, and at some point, he reached out his hands to me. Like an electric shock ran through my body. Later, we secretly drove around the city at night, and he would come over in the evenings. Naturally, we had sex. But we never thought about a real relationship. We were just lovers, meeting in secret, until we got caught. The affair was exposed almost immediately after her husband's return. I got caught. I forgot to delete our messages, and my husband read everything when he got back. It was brutal. I thought he would kill me on the spot, Tatiana says. But we managed to talk and calm down. Now everything between us is fine. My husband is amazing. He's my partner, my best friend, my gossip buddy, all in one. When I was cheating, I didn't even think about it at first. But later, my inner voice screamed, "What are you doing? Did you find yourself in the gutter? Who taught you this? Since when is cheating okay?" I felt like I was causing pain. Now, years later, with a more mature perspective, I know I'll never stoop that low again. You can't just lie down for anyone, even if you've known them for years. I slept with 2 men in one day and woke up realizing I was a bee. 21-year-old Marina faced a difficult situation when her fiancé broke off their engagement after she confessed to cheating. The night before, she had slept with her boss at work, just hours before having an intimate night with her fiancé. I was in a long-term relationship with a great guy. We started as best friends, and over time, our relationship became serious. We were heading toward marriage. Marina shares. He was an IT specialist, wanted a family, and was very homely. He was always thoughtful, picking me up and dropping me off at work. Meanwhile, Marina saw no harm in a casual flirtation that started with her older, married boss. At first, we just exchanged messages about little things. Then we started joking about sex, relationships, lovers. I thought it was just harmless fun, a distraction from work boredom. Then one day, we had to go out of town for work. The thought crossed my mind, but I dismissed it. He didn't seem like the type to cheat with an employee, too beneath him. But then he pulled the car over and said, "We forgot something." "Oh, right. Sex." At first, I was scared, but then I just let go. I liked him. He liked me. Why not? Besides, I thought it would be just once. It felt surreal driving back, pretending nothing had happened. An hour later, my fiancée picked me up from work. We had dinner, went for a walk, and had an incredible night together. What happened the next day felt like a moral and ethical nightmare. I woke up at my fiancé's place, had breakfast, and he dropped me off at work. By noon, it hit me. I was a terrible person. I had slept with 2 men in the same day. To distract herself, Marina went shopping. Her fiancé sensed something was wrong through her texts and showed up. While they were walking through the mall, she decided to confess everything. I told him the whole truth. He listened, then calmly said he had expected something like this, that I wasn't someone he could build a serious relationship with. He said I had broken his heart, drove me home, and we never spoke again. Well, I tried to reach out, but he shut me down. He had nothing more to say to me. I was in a deep depression for weeks. Even now, I know I did something awful and just got lost in life. The worst part of cheating is how it eats you up from the inside, Marina says. Even now, I feel like crying just thinking about it. It haunted me for a long time. I eventually confided in my mother, but she called it disgusting and said she would never do something like that. She always warned me that I was too quick to spread my legs. Maybe she was right. I still occasionally sleep with my boss. I sent a birthday text from my lover's bed. Some cheat out of revenge, trying to get back at their partner for arguments or a toxic relationship. That's what 27-year-old Oksana did, and she now believes cheating helped her move forward. I was dating my boyfriend for a long time, but then I had to leave for a work trip to Moscow. Not for a few days, but for a long time. We started fighting a lot. A week before I left, we had a huge argument. He didn't even take me to the airport, Oksana recalls. We didn't speak for 2 weeks. Eventually, I reached out first, and we seemed to make up, but something felt off. We kept arguing over small things. When her boyfriend's birthday came, she sent him a sweet message. "Happy birthday, my love. I adore you," with lots of hearts and emojis. But she sent it from the bed of a man she had just met in a bar hours earlier. I never told my boyfriend. Not when I was in Moscow. Not when I came back to Volgograd. Not during fights. Not in deep conversations, Oksana confesses. I was happy I cheated. I wanted to show him how much his possessiveness hurt me. I was tired of his emotional roller coasters. That night, I broke free, and it felt liberating. Now, I love him, but I don't let him control me. I realized my worth and that I can walk away any time. But every time I remember that day, I feel sick. I avoid the topic of cheating in conversations. Maybe I still feel guilty, or maybe not. To forgive or not to forgive. Psychologist Anna says that whether to forgive cheating depends on each person and their values. If nothing changes after the betrayal, another one is guaranteed. The key is understanding what was missing in the relationship. Do you still see your partner as special? Can you offer them what they sought elsewhere? These questions must be answered before deciding whether to forgive.